I've fielded quite a few questions over the years regarding my coding setup. Programmers are always looking for tips and tricks to improve their coding productivity. Everything can make a difference, from your operating system to your code editor to your keyboard. So here's a quick rundown of my favorite tools. First off is the operating system. I switch off regularly between macOS and Windows 10. I run a Windows box at home because I need a full-sized graphics card for video processing. I built my Windows box with recommendations from logicalincrements.com, but I'd probably buy a pre-built machine if I had to do it again. It was my first computer build, and while it went off without a hitch, I'm not sure how much money I saved for my efforts. My work machine is a MacBook Pro with the touch bar. I frankly prefer my Windows box at this point, but it doesn't make much difference. You can get used to your tools, and any operating system will work fine with a little customization. The nicest things that I can say about macOS is that its bash command line is easier to use than even Windows Linux subsystem, and macOS has better font display, by a wide margin. You wouldn't think that font quality matters much until you switch back and forth every day. Next up is my code editor, which has been VS Code for the last few years. VS Code is taking over the open source editor market. I've used Sublime Text, Atom, WebStorm, TextMate, and even Vim, but VS Code slays all comers. I haven't found a system that I like nearly as well. My next most common text editor is Vim, but that's just because it's quick from the command line. I know a lot of you love your Vim, and I understand, but I'm just not productive enough with Vim. And if you're wondering why my text looks the way it does, it's because I use dank mono with ligatures as my font. The next most important bit of tooling that I love is Chrome DevTools and my Chrome extensions. I could write a whole series of videos on DevTools and the workflows that make me smile. But for now, just know that DevTools is the key to productively building web front ends. I like Firefox for browsing, and its developer tools are good and even better at a few things. But Chrome DevTools sets the standard with excellent breakpoint handling, performance reporting, and PWA application support. As far as Chrome extensions go, I use 1Password for all of my security, Toby for managing my tabs and saving tab sessions, and Liner for highlighting web pages. I'm also a fan of Wunderlist for to-do lists, and Carbon.now.sh for visually appealing code images. I do a fair bit of mock matching when working on front ends, so I use Xscope on Mac and the Perfect Pixel Chrome extension to dial in the pixels. Pixel matching is often looked down on by hardcore JavaScript devs. However, I respect my designers and want to do their pixel-perfect designs justice, so I suck it up and pixel match my designs whenever possible. And when I'm not coding, I'm generating video. I do a bunch of screencasting and take lots of screenshots, so I have to give a shout out to Camtasia and Snagit. They're pretty expensive, so I waited a while before I bought them. However, they've been a huge productivity boost. I searched high and low for cheaper options, and nothing else compares to the Camtasia suite. Of course, video editing is Adobe Premiere, audio editing is Adobe Audition, and images are Photoshop. My wife is a graphic designer, so we pay for the Adobe Creative Suite already. Again, it's expensive software that's worth every dime. And finally, let's cover some quick hardware decisions. I'm rocking a Razer Death Adder Elite mouse. Although I try not to use the mouse much, and I'm not picky about mice. I've been using my DAS keyboard with Cherry MX Blues since 2011. Yeah, if the baldness wasn't a hint, I'm that old. I gave up on my original finance career and taught myself to code in 2011, so I'm already deep into my second career at 35. Anyway, I need new keycaps because the original set is not only mirror finished shiny, but the reference bumps are almost gone after 7 years of frantic typing. I don't understand how folks type on anything other than mechanical keyboards. Seriously, Apple, what is up with those scissor switches and their ½ millimeter of travel? Your keyboards are beautiful and thin, but they're so slow and error prone. Anyway, let's keep moving. For monitors, I use 2 cheap Samsung 4K displays. I can't remember the model numbers, but they're the cheapest 28-inch Samsung 4K panels on Amazon. They were less than $300 a piece. The key is that they're high resolution and there are 2 of them. The viewing angles on these things are horrible, so I do not trust them for graphic design. My designer wife hates sitting down to my machine because all of the colors are screwy. However, I spend my time with code editors and websites, so maybe I'll buy a fancier color reference monitor in a year or 2. But I've spent too much on hardware for now. And speaking of overspending, shooting videos is a hardware-intensive exercise. I use a Sony a6000 with a fancy 35mm prime lens for shooting video. Audio is handled with the Rode NTG2 shotgun mic and a Tascam DR40 recorder. Getting good audio is probably harder than good video. Or maybe I'm audio deficient, but landing on the Rode and Tascam combo took trial and error. I use Sennheiser HD280 Pro wired headphones and Bose QC35s for Bluetooth noise cancelling. You wouldn't think that the headphones matter that much, but the Bose are critical for long plane flights, and the Sennheisers are comfortable for all-day coding sessions. And while we're doing the office tour, you can't shoot good video without a ton of supplemental lighting. I've had a great experience with my 4 Neewer LED panel lights. Neewer is available on Amazon, and their stuff is aggressively priced. Any LED panel lights would probably work great, but I found that I need a bunch of them. I need fewer than 3 panel lights, and my face is surrounded by distracting shadows. And finally, I always get questions about my backpack. The programmer and the backpack are joined at the hip. And like a lot of people, I'm a sucker for a pretty backpack. So I've spent the last couple of years with my prized Peak Designs Everyday 20 liter. I highly recommend Peak Designs if you can justify the expense. Unfortunately, all this gear has cost me a ton of money. I've been scrounging it off of eBay and Amazon warehouse deals for a few years now. You can find some great deals if you're patient enough, but it's a slow process if you're not willing to pay full price for high-end gear. My office is the product of years of scrounging and tough buying decisions, and I'm very curious to see how other folks have managed their setups. So please share your recommendations in the comments. I would love to hear what makes you more productive. I don't own any silly pets, and I'm just not that funny. So thanks for watching me talk about programming. This is a boutique channel, meaning that it's super niche and kind of tiny. But tiny YouTube channels are great, especially if you really like writing code. Every subscription, like, and comment helps. But seriously, I'm going to shoot videos anyway. You can't stop me. It's too late.